Every day, we operate on a set of invisible assumptions. We assume that the code in our software registries is safe, that the tech giants have absolute control over their physical products, and that the information we find online is produced by humans. This week, those assumptions were tested. Over 29,000 software developers unknowingly compromised their operational tokens, granting attackers direct access to their artificial intelligence systems. At the same time, an unreleased Google smartwatch, the Pixel Watch 5, was discovered at the bottom of the ocean, near St. Martin, functional and displaying its internal interface to a recreational diver. When 29,000 developers lose their credentials to a single malicious file, while a multi-billion-dollar prototype ends up in the Caribbean tide, the underlying system of trust is visibly fraying. These events suggest the frictionless experience of the last decade is shifting. Builders and users alike are finding themselves in an environment where safety is no longer a default setting, but something that must be actively managed. To see why the ecosystem is tightening, we have to look at how software is built. Instead of attacking a company's hardened servers, hackers are now targeting the supply chain, poisoning the open-source libraries and tools that developers install every day. A package called Codex UI Android appeared on the NPM registry, masquerading as a legitimate interface for OpenAI's Codex model. It looked professional, it functioned as advertised, and it promised to streamline AI-powered coding. This chart tracks the velocity of the deception. Because the registry is a trusted source, 29,000 developers downloaded the package weekly. By the time it was exposed on June 1st, it had already infiltrated thousands of private and commercial projects. The package contained a Trojan designed to extract API authentication tokens. These aren't just passwords. They are persistent credentials that allow the attacker to act as the developer, making calls to AI models and accessing sensitive data. This creates an immediate economic risk. Since cloud services bill by the millisecond, an attacker with stolen tokens can rack up thousands of dollars in unauthorized API charges before the breach is even detected. For the developer community, this incident serves as a proof of concept. If the foundational blocks of the NPM ecosystem can be weaponized so easily, the trust that allows for rapid, modern software development begins to erode. This erosion of control isn't limited to code. In the physical world, Google is facing questions about its prototype management after the unreleased Pixel Watch 5 was found by a scuba diver off the coast of St. Martin. While some speculate this could be a viral marketing tactic, the discovery of functional, unannounced hardware in the ocean highlights a lack of physical oversight that makes a multi-billion-dollar company look surprisingly disorganized. That same struggle for quality control is playing out in digital storefronts. Sony recently purged over 1,000 shovelware titles from the PlayStation Store, low-effort, duplicate games that had cluttered the ecosystem and diluted the value of the platform's library. Even in the financial projections of industry leaders like SpaceX, the future is becoming less predictable for investors. As the company pushes toward Mars, its capital requirements are reaching a scale that forces a difficult trade-off. In a recent IPO update, SpaceX warned that to fund these massive projects, it may issue significant new shares. This results in share dilution, where the ownership percentage held by early investors is reduced to make room for new capital. Across hardware, software marketplaces, and private finance, tech entities are finding it harder to maintain the standards of secrecy and predictability that consumers and investors once took for granted. In the world of decentralized finance, institutional players are moving to consolidate influence. Tom Lee's BitMine recently spent $52 million on a single Ethereum purchase, part of a much larger accumulation strategy. BitMine's goal is to hold 5% of the total Ethereum supply. This chart shows the scale of that ambition. By capturing such a large share, a single firm can exert significant influence over the governance and future direction of the entire network. While investors centralize digital assets, everyday users are pushing back against the centralization of information, specifically the flood of AI-generated content in their search results. DuckDuckGo's no AI traffic tripled after it launched browser extensions that filter out AI summaries. Users are actively opting out of algorithmic hallucinations in favor of traditional website links and human-verified sources. This isn't a rejection of tech, but a shift in preference. Users are showing a growing fatigue with automated content, seeking out the classic internet, where they can verify information themselves. We are moving away from an era of optimistic, blind acceptance and into what could be called tech realism. The expectation that a platform or a package is safe by default is no longer a viable strategy. The new baseline requires active defense. It means developers auditing every line of third-party code, investors scrutinizing prospectuses for dilution risks, and users employing filters to separate human knowledge from machine-generated noise. The digital ecosystem is becoming a space where verification is the primary currency. Moving forward, the value of a system won't be measured by how fast it moves, but by how rigorously users can prove it's working.